Hello, class. So today, you guys are going to create your own family tree. I kind of feel that the most interesting history to learn is about our own family history. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. You could either make your family tree here on Ancestry.com, or you can make your family tree on FamilySearch.org. So again, you can use either one. Now, the family tree option on Ancestry is free, but to view records, you have to pay a subscription. But I'm sure there's like a free 14-day trial that you might be able to use to help you search for records. Again, you don't have to search for records. That's optional. But Family Search, it's free for your family, for building your family tree, and it's also free for searching for records. Anyway, to create a family tree, you're gonna first need to register for one or both sites. So again, either Ancestry or Family Search. Again, you gotta have an account to build your family tree and to search for records. Another option you can do is you can actually build your family tree on Ancestry and then use Family Search to look up records. But just a reminder, searching for records is optional, meaning you don't have to do that. You can just build your family tree from 3 to 5 generations. So again, to create a tree, you're going to click on Tree, click on Create and Manage Trees, and then click here where it says Create a New Tree. And there you go. So I want to show you guys the family tree that I created. This is 5 generations, so I have me, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and then I have my great-great-grandparents. I've been able to even go back further on some of the lines, like my great-great-grandmother, Josepha Garcia Baca. I've been able to go back, a lot of her ancestry is the first settlers of New Mexico. Well as my great-great-grandmother, Fabronia Lopez. And again, my paternal grandmother's ancestry. I've been able to go back about 7 generations. And of course, this is down on the bottom is my mother's lineage. Anyway, this is my family tree. Again, it starts with me, and then my parents. Again, you could post pictures as well. Again, you could post their birth records, their death records, their dates. So, for example, here my grandfather, Willie Gomez Allison, was born on January 28, 1924 in Dwyer, Grant County, New Mexico. And he died on August 19, 1999 in Las Cruces, Donna Ana, New Mexico. My grandmother, she was born April 10th, 1928 in Janos, Chihuahua, Mexico, and died June 20th, 2012 here in Deming. Of course, my other grandfather, born November 11th, 1936 in Santa Rita, Grant County, New Mexico, and then passed away on April 25th, 2004 in Tyrone, Grant County, New Mexico. And of course, my grandmother, she's still living, but again, she was born September 2nd, 1936 in Asuncion, Chihuahua, Mexico. My great-grandfather, Francisco, was born October 10th, 1889 in Salamanca, Guanajuato, and he passed away April 16th, 1989 in Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. This right here is my great-great-grandmother, Maria Francisca Cruz from Penjama, Guanajuato. And this is actually a picture of her. Which you can see she's indigenous from Mexico. She was born in 1852, died in 1934 in Santa Rita, Grant County, New Mexico. And if you're wondering where Santa Rita is, Santa Rita actually doesn't exist anymore because they actually mined on the town. So if you're ever driving back to Demi from Silver City, you see the mine, and, in the background, and you see the big hole. Well, that's where actually Santa Rita used to be. They just mined on top of it, and so it doesn't exist anymore. Of course, this is my great-great-grandfather, Hilario Gomez Baeza. Actually got a picture of him here. Again, this is actually a picture that I found that someone had posted here on Ancestry. But anyway, this is my family tree. And now it's your turn to create your family tree. Again, all you have to do is go back 3 to 5 generations. When you're done with your tree, either here on Ancestry or on Family Search, you can go ahead and screenshot it and then upload it into the assignment. Again, you can even do more research later on. Again, you don't have to stop doing research on your family just because the assignment is over. Again, you can continue to do this. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and email me. So this is FamilySearch.org. Again, this website is free. So again, not only is building your family tree on the site free, searching for records is also free. And to start your family tree, you're going to go ahead and click here and then click on tree. It'll take you to something that looks like this, and then you just start putting all the information in. Now, just know you might need to talk to your parents and ask them, you might know who your grandparents are, but you might not know who your great-grandparents or your great-great-grandparents are. So that information you might want to get from them, maybe birth dates, dates and birth dates and death dates. You might be able to get from your parents or your grandparents if they're still alive. Anyway, you'll start off by putting your information, then your parents, grandparents, and then so on. But what I really want to show you guys is how to search for records here. So you're going to click search and then come to records. And then here, you're going to go ahead and put your ancestor's name, last name. You could put their birthplace if you know it, their birth year. Now, you might not know the exact year. For an example, my great-great-grandfather, Ira Allison, I really don't know what year he was born because on census records it's always showing a different year. But all I know is he was born either in 1962, I mean 1862 or 1863. So again, I could put 1862, 1863. Again, if you could put a 10-year period from 1860 to 1870. Um, Again, you could put their marriage record, a residence, as well as their death record. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. So kind of think of ancestor to use for this. So I'm using my great grandmother, who I was lucky enough to meet. She was actually born in Lordsburg, New Mexico. Her mother was actually from the Mexican state of Agua Calientes, and she immigrated to the United States or moved to the United States somewhere, I think 1896. And then she got married and had some kids. Her first husband died. Um, so I've been able to find like a record from 1910 showing that my great great grandmother was a widow living in Lordsburg with two children. And then the following year, which is 1911, my great grandmother was born. Um, Anyway, I also heard a story that my great grandma's dad, who was also had a first wife who died, him and his young son actually walked all the way from Casas Grandes all the way to Lordsburg to look for work. And that's where he met my great great grandmother. And they ended up getting married and having a bunch of kids. And my great grandma actually lived in Deming for about 5 years between 1915 and 1920. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and push search and see if I can find any information. So again, right here, I found a crossing record from 1931. Again, there's no picture. Sometimes they might actually show the picture here. But anyway, Susana Castro, immigration, September 17th, 1931. Female, 20 years old, race Mexican. Again, no photograph, born 1911. Birthplace, Lordsburg, and it shows her being with her father, Victorio Castro. Here's another record. It's another immigration. This time they actually have the picture here. Susana Castro, immigration, 1931, Columbus, Luna, New Mexico. She was 20. Going to open this. And so again, sometimes they will have documents here that has all the information. So again, Susana Castro, she's with her sister. And again, you can kind of all see her. She's living in Asuncion, Chihuahua, Mexico. That's where my grandmother was born, and that's where my great grandparents were married. Anyway, that's that record. And then you can just continue going down to see if there's any other records. Another thing you can do is to look here to see if there's any similar historical records, because sometimes there could be new records there. So I'm going to go ahead and do another. First, I'm going to go ahead and do my great grandfather, Hilario Baeza, Silver City, New Mexico. He was born in 1891. Actually, he might have been born in 1889, between 1889 and 1891. I believe the record on his tombstone, it says 1889 was when he was born. But go ahead and leave that there, and then click on update and see if I can find anything. Found a census here. So this right here is from the 1940 census. Again, the family's living here in Deming. And you kind of see everybody. There's my great grandmother, and then my great aunt Betty, who I got to meet in the 90s. And then Manuel, my grandmother's brother. And then there's Emma, who actually lived right near my grandmother. Lydia, then my grandmother, and then Socorro, and then Hilario, my grandmother's brother, and then of course the youngest, Belia Baeza. She's actually the only one alive out of all of these relatives here. And then after that is Jose Baeza, which is my grandma's brother and his wife, and then John Baeza, which is also my grandmother's brother. Anyway, pretty interesting there. Let's do his father, who I believe was born in between 1850 and 1860. I can't find any birth records on him, but like all his siblings were born in Janos. So I'm assuming that's where he was born. And so here's some records here. Here's a baptism record. Now it's interesting. Now, if you descend from ancestors who came from Mexico or right here in New Mexico, the Catholic Church did a great job in collecting and saving records, documenting records. There's birth records, baptism records, marriage records, as well as death records. Again, this is a baptism record for Jose Miguel Baeza, which would have been my great-grandfather Hilario's brother. Again, when you see these baptism records, you gotta know that most of the time there's going to be two first names. And usually the first name is the saint name, and then the second name is the first name. So this is Miguel Baeza. Jose is his saint name. Another thing you could do is just go ahead and click on one of your relatives. Scroll down to where it says similar records here, and go ahead and click. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this New Mexico marriages. And so this is the marriage record, again, from the Catholic Church in Silver City for my great-great-grandparents, Hilario Baeza and Leandra Garcia. They were married on June 12, 1882 at St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church in Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. I'm going to go ahead and click on my great-great-grandfather. Again, sometimes, the translation, especially if the records are in Spanish, the translation can be off. So right here, they spelled my great-great-grandfather's name wrong. But you can kind of see here, this is another baptism record for my great-grandfather Hilario's only sister. So they had a bunch of boys and then one daughter. But anyway, the event was July 8th, 1883, Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. They actually lived between, most of the time, in Silver City and then in Janos, so they were back and forth. A big reason, I believe, was because my great-great-grandmother's mother was still living in Silver City in 1900 by herself, so I'm sure that was a big reason why they were still, back and forth between Silver City and Janos. And here's a census from 1900 for my great-grandparents. Again, the names are a little off, but Hilario Baeza, Leandra Baeza. Most of the time, the ages are wrong as well. But you can kind of see some of these names here. Right here is my great grandfather Hilario Baeza. Um, anyway, again, searching for records it's pretty interesting. A lot of the stuff that you might find. Let me search one more ancestor. This is my great grandmother. Casitas, New Mexico. Casitas is actually near Hatch, and she was born in 1882, I believe. Ooh, I found something here. And so I found my great grandmother's baptism record, which took place in Donna Ana County, New Mexico. Um, again, it gives you the date of the baptism as well as the parents' names, and sometimes they actually might post the grandparents' names. But anyway, her parents were Epimenio Duran and Maria Natividad Lopez. Again, this is on my dad's side, on my dad's father's mother's side. Anyway, I just clicked on her father's, and you kind of see there's actually a bunch of records here, which I'm going to go ahead and take a look at. I'm going to click on this marriage one here. And so this is my great grandparents' marriage license from July, or record from July 7th, 1876, and it took place in Las Cruces, Donna Ana, New Mexico. And you kind of see his father's name, Siquio Duran, and his mother's name is Rosa Benavides, and then his wife's name, Natividad Lopez, and then her father's Caterino Lopez and Joseph Provencio. And let me click on one of these. I've actually found my great grandfather's baptism record. It's on one of these records. Actually, I think I found where it's at. Right there. So again, this is actually my, we just saw his marriage license, his marriage record. This is actually his baptism record from March 30th, 1854, from Mesilla, Donna Ana County, New Mexico, at the San Albino Catholic Church there in Mesilla, which is still there. Not the original church. Now, he got baptized in the original San Albino Catholic Church. Of course, it was, I wouldn't say rebuilt, but, work done to it to keep it updated. But anyway, you have his father's name, Ezekiel Duran, and then his mother's name, as well as his maternal grandparents, Jose Benavides and Francisco Apodaca. Anyway, that is how you use this search tool here to find records. Now, you don't have to, it's optional on looking for records, but I think you might enjoy it. Now, just know that you will find, records from Mexico, especially Chihuahua. A lot of my family were, not only the first settlers in New Mexico, but also the first settlers in Juarez back in 1680, when it was actually called El Paso del Norte. But anyway, if you're interested in finding records, this is how you do that. So now, hopefully, you guys enjoy, have fun with this activity, and complete the assignment. Okay. If you guys have any questions, email me.